When was the last time you used berating statements or language against yourself? You know, the type of thing is, you're not good enough, you've got a big nose, you're not going to be able to do this, you can't quit alcohol, you're just not good enough. Well, here's 5 things that you can do to get rid of those self-doubts and that nagging voice inside your head. How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com, and today I just wanted to talk about 5 different ways that you can at least confront the inner critic and sort of crush what that evil little bastard is saying to you. Now, you know, everyone has this. We all have this inner voice within our minds that pipes up at the most inopportune moments, you know, when you're having problems and difficulties, and it'll say stupid, negative stuff to you. We all have it, right? We might get it in the morning when you're looking in the bathroom mirror and you might think, oh, you know, your teeth are horrible, or you're getting too fat, or yeah, you're just not good enough. You might get it when you're in work saying, you know, you're not cut out for doing this kind of thing. You're not good enough to do this job, or I just can't do that. You might get it in your relationships when you tell yourself that the person that you're with just doesn't love you, or that you're incapable of being loved, or that you're never going to find a partner. Every part of your life is going to have these sorts of moments in it. Everybody has it. Anyone tells you they don't have it, they're lying their arse off, because everybody, even the most well-rounded people on the planet, even those people who seem to have everything, money, fame, good looks, they have it. They have the inner critic. Just some people are better able to deal with the inner critic than others. And I hope after this you'll have a bit more of an inkling how to do that. Now, there's no way of really saying where this little gremlin comes from. I presume, I guess, that it's just something that is built up over life, you know. I know it can be sort of a painful occasion in your past, somebody saying things to you that have stayed with you for the rest of your life, you know. I always remember somebody years ago when I was 16 or 17, and I used to have a lot of blonde hair. It was all curly and I hated the curls, and I always wanted to have straight hair, so I'd blow dry the thing, and I'd blow dry it into a sort of like an Elvis Presley sort of a thing, you know, on top of my head. It looked ridiculous at the time, in all fairness, but that's being a teenager. And this woman turned around to me and said to me that I had an awful big forehead. And that devastated me, you know. And she laughed about it and she thought it was funny. And I took it very personal, you know, and I started looking at my forehead for years afterwards and thinking, Jesus, I have. And even more so after I lost my hair. Look at how big that forehead goes now. It's right to the back of my head. But that's where these things come from. It's from your life. It's from insecurities. But how do you get rid of it? You're not going to get rid of the inner voice, it's always going to be there, but how do you kick its arse? How do you make sure that it can't insinuate its evilness into your everyday life, and tamp it down, put it back into its little box where it belongs? Now, before I give you the 5 things, I want to say that before anything else, you have to understand what the inner voice is, you have to be able to hear it, right? You have to be able to differentiate it from your normal thoughts. You know, a lot of the time in our lives, this inner voice just becomes a part of the inner noise, right? The thoughts, and we don't differentiate it from our normal voice. We think it's a part of us, and you know, in a way, it is a part of you. It's a part of who you are, right? But you have to understand when it's happening, right? You've got to be able to go, well, yeah, that negative thought, that questioning, that statement that just popped in my head, that's my inner critic. That's the evil judge at the back of my brain that's trying to tell me that what I'm doing is wrong, right? That's what you have to do first. So first and foremost, that's what you have to understand. Secondly, before I give you the 5 things, you know, identify without identifying with, right? So you have to identify that the voice is there, but don't identify with it, right? And don't try and push it away. What you resist is going to persist. You know, just understand that the evil bastard is there in the back of your head. You can see him, you know he's there, and you're going to start taking your little tools, these tools, and you're going to do something about him, right? In a minute. But for now, don't resist him. Just notice that he's there, right? So that's the first one. Just acknowledge that the critical judge is there, right? The second one, number 2, is to challenge. This is when you start to interfere with the thought. This is when you start to interfere with this gobshite at the back of your brain. And what I mean by challenge is I say, take an instance here to clarify this point a bit. You're out at a party and you walk in the door and you don't drink anymore, right? And you want to say no. You want to be able to spend the whole night drinking what you want to drink and not drink what somebody else wants you to drink, which sometimes happens, right? That's the time when the critical voice might pop up inside your head and say, well, you really want to drink, don't you? You know you can't stop drinking. You know this is just a fool's errand, right? You know you're going to make a fool out of yourself. So what's the point? You know that people are going to think that you're an alcoholic. People are going to think that there's something wrong with you. Now, acknowledge what's going on and challenge it. Say no anyway. You know that what they're saying is wrong. You know from what I'm saying that you're not an alcoholic. So that's number 2, is to push through regardless, right? Number 1 is acknowledge. Number 2 is to challenge the judge, challenge the inner critic, and do it anyway. The third one is to kill the negativity with your own positivity. Drown the negativity with your own positivity. And I mean by that is when you hear this bastard in the back of your head telling you that you can't do this, that you are this and you're that and you're the other, and you say, I'm in control here. I'm in control here. I'm the boss. I'm the one that says what's going. I know that I'm not an alcoholic. I know I can do this. I'm positive I can do this. Those kind of things. Have it in your head. You know, these things, they might not come natural at first. You can make them more natural by sort of practicing them beforehand. You know, stand in front of the mirror or whatever you need to do. Do a bit of practicing, and these things will sound a lot better inside your brain when you use the things that you're going to use yourself. I mean, I don't want to say what I say in my head because I'll probably get banned off YouTube, right? But my positivity and my challenging voice has a lot of swear words in it, and a lot of shouting and roaring, and I don't want to do that in front of the camera, so I won't. Another one here, it's not part of what I was going to talk about, was to give your inner voice a really stupid sounding voice, right? Something like Daffy Duck, right? You know, what Daffy Duck does. I can't do Daffy Duck, so I'm not going to do it. Or Homer Simpson. Duh, you don't want to do this. You know, I can't do Homer Simpson either, but like that, if you give it a stupid sounding voice, then it takes away half of the playing. Normally, this inner voice is like such a nasty, horrible, nagging, that kind of thing, you know. But if you give it one of those voices, or give it a sexy voice, like Jessica Rabbit, you know, the idea is to take away the armor, take away the armory. That's the idea. Jeez, I had the jitters there for a minute going through there. And number 4 is prove it wrong. You know, you only do this through habit, you only do this through repetition, just as you build your alcohol habit or any other habit in your life. You're going to build this type of defenses against your self-talk by repetition, just repeating the same things over and over again. Don't lie to yourself. You know, if you lie to yourself, you're your own worst enemy. You know, always be sort of, you know, realize that you've got to follow through with this thing. If you're saying this stuff to yourself but you're not following through, if you go to the party, eventually you say no, then you're not going to believe anything that you say. So it takes away from your power. But if you consistently refuse to give in to the inner voice, and you consistently prove it's wrong by acting out what you intended to act out in the first place, then you will win. You will consistently prove it wrong, and that voice will just eventually shut up about it. It will stop doing it, and that's what you want, for it to stop doing it. Which brings me on to my final point, and that's just to keep moving forwards. You know, if you do this time and time again, you follow through with what you're doing. In this instance, if you carry on not drinking alcohol, then you're building your own defenses against this. In any area of your life, if you acknowledge the inner voice, right? If you challenge the inner voice, if you give it a stupid voice, and at the end of the day, all you can do is just ignore it, move on, and carry on with what you're doing. You know, change course and do something different. You know, often the inner voice just comes up because, yeah, it's there. Your mind is not actively doing something else, you know. So I'd love to hear what you think about this video, your experiences with your own inner voice. What does your own inner voice say to you? Leave a comment down below. Give us a thumbs up if you're on YouTube or Facebook. Come on over to the website and sign up for the newsletter. There's some great people over there leaving comments all the time, and you know, join the community. Until next time, have a great week. I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery. Onwards and upwards.